What's up guys, T here with the ship upgrade video in which we will discuss ship upgrades I recommend based on the capital fleet I detail in my fleet composition video and a convoy rating flotilla. This is part 2 of my 3-part tank, ship, and plane upgrade quick tip. I will link part 3 and the fleet composition video at the very end of this video, so be sure to check those out if you haven't already. As well, for those new to Tea Time, I have loads of helpful Hearts of Iron 4 tips on my channel, so be sure to check those out and subscribe for more. So first we're going to look at some upgrades I'd recommend making as part of the capital fleet composition, and each upgrade is going to run you exactly 175 naval experience. The first upgrade I'd recommend making is increasing the anti-sub warfare weapons on your destroyers all the way to 5, and the reason being is it's going to give you increased sub detection so you can find those pesky buggers, and then increased depth charges so you can deal with them once you find them. The negative of this is it's going to decrease your torpedo attack, but as part of a capital fleet, it's not the destroyer's job to deal out damage to larger ships. It's the other ship's job. Well, it's the destroyer's job just to screen for those ships. So in order to do that, they need to find the subs and destroy them so the subs can't destroy the larger ships. The next thing I'm going to recommend upgrading is maxing out the gun on the light cruiser. And the reason I'm going to recommend this is, as we all know, light cruisers are pretty darn good in this game. And so with their agility and speed around to be able to get around and find targets, what they're going to do if you increase their gun is they're just going to destroy those targets faster. And you know, it's really just as simple as that. Put a bigger gun on them, they're fast, they find targets, they destroy targets. That's the end of the deal. The next thing I'd recommend doing is maxing out the deck space on your carriers. And the reason I recommend doing this is, who cares about the armor? Your carrier should not be up front taking damage unless you're losing. So if you don't plan on losing, don't care about your carrier's armor. But the deck size is extremely important, because the larger your deck size, the more planes you can have, and each plane is one plane times, say, about 2 naval attack from those planes on the enemy ships. So more planes, more damage your carriers can dish out, and that's extremely important. The next thing I would recommend upgrading is the heavy cruiser, and I would max out their gun. Falls a little bit further down my list just because they're not quite as fast and nimble as the light cruisers, so they can't acquire targets quite as quickly. But again, they're still pretty quick, and they are usually one of the first few larger ships into the battle, so increasing their gun is going to go a long way for your capital versus capital engagements. Now, I'm sure you guys are going to call me out on this because I said not to worry about it, but it's kind of low on my list, so that's why you don't want to worry about it initially. But the last thing I'm going to recommend upgrading is actually maxing out the torpedo on your destroyers. And the reason being for that is that these destroyers, again, are quick. They're going to be one of the first ships into the battle. They have the ability to engage larger ships more readily with torpedoes. That is a really good thing. And the thing with the larger ships, what makes torpedoes so dangerous and why you need to screen against enemy submarines, is their evasion stats low. So that makes them especially vulnerable to torpedo attacks. So that's why I would recommend increasing torpedoes on your destroyers, so they do have that ability to deal damage to those larger ships. Now we're going to move on to the upgrades I'd recommend making if you're going to be focusing on convoy rating. And the upgrade is really quite simple. All you need to do is max the torpedoes, stealth, and engine of your submarines. So take them all up to 5. And what you're going to notice is that it costs 900 naval experience, which is a lot. So we're going to have to do this in 2 parts. And I'll show you that in a minute, but first I guess I want to explain why I choose these 3 things and why I don't choose the others. So the first thing I'd like to point out is your torpedo attack is you're just increasing that. That's going to make your subs more lethal, obviously. You're going to increase your stealth because your convoy rating, you're probably not wanting to be spotted if you don't want to be, so the more stealthy you are, the better that is. And that's going to affect your sub detection. So if your sub visibility, I should say, but the sub detection is with the destroyers. When they come in, they're trying to find you. The less visible you are, the better off you are. And then finally, I increased the engine to 5, and that's going to increase your max range, so your subs can be effective at further ranges from their home port, as well as their ability to move more quickly through the water. So Yes, I do realize that engine and stealth are working against each other. The increased engine is actually negating the ability of the stealth to keep you more undetected. But the reason I do both is you're still preserving the same amount of sub-visibility, but you're also getting the additional range and the additional speed of the submarine. If you don't care about the additional range and the additional speed, what I recommend doing is not increasing the engine at all and just going with the stealth. See, you can see now the visibility of the submarine has dropped 6.2. It's less able to be spotted by enemy destroyers, but at the cost you do lose your speed here due to the increased weight of the torpedo attack. So basically doing all three at 5 gets you the gain torpedo attack, the extra range, and a little bit extra speed without losing any stealth. If you want to just be stealthy, don't do the engine, maybe don't do the torpedo if you don't have the extra experience. That's just going to keep you hidden. Torpedo is going to give you more attack. Engine's going to give you that additional speed and range. Now the stat I'm totally ignoring here is the reliability, and the reason being is the reliability drop is so minimal, it's only 1.8%, and on ships what that actually means is your percent chance that the enemy will score a critical hit on you. And to be honest, at a 1.8% more chance of critical hit isn't worth 500 or so naval experience. It's just not. So what I'm going to do is I'm willing to sacrifice that. If you're not, that's at your own discretion, but I would say don't worry about it. As far as building this in 2 parts, I would do the 5 torpedo and 5 stealth to begin with. That's going to be part 1, and then add the 5 engine on later as you get more experience. Alright guys, that's all I have to say about ship upgrades. If you have any more specific questions, please leave them in the comment section below. I will do research, or if I have the knowledge already, I will answer them for you. If you enjoyed this video or it helped you, please leave a like. Be sure to subscribe before you go, as I'm making new content daily. And as always guys, thanks for watching.